We have some major breaking news as it looks like Will Brown will be driving the number 11 car for Kaulig Racing in the Xfinity Series race at Portland. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. As I just said on Sunday, we had some pretty massive major breaking news as it has been reported that Will Brown is expected to drive for Kaulig Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Portland at the end of this month. Here's what was reported by Speed Cafe. Stefan Bartholomew reports Brown, who described his deal to run in the Cup Series at Chicago Street Course in July as 2 years in the making, was taken out in a multi-car crash, of course, on the third lap at the Chicago Street Course. They said that it was going to be a surprising driver who was going to be behind the wheel of the number 11 car, as we all know that Josh Williams is out of Kaulig Racing effective immediately. And it basically was confirmed ahead of the event with Carson Osbar going to be behind the wheel. And he basically said, Chris Rice said, when you look at the next 4 weeks, there are some opportunities to go and judge and grade the Xfinity program. You know, we've got to get our Xfinity program back to where we're contending for wins and trophy hunting and doing something different like that. Sometimes, you know, we are going to take a fourth place car to places just to figure it out. Now we get to do it with the third car. So we're going to look over next week. We've got a pretty good lineup that is going to be behind that as well. And as reported, they say that this driver is someone that's going to be surprising behind the wheel. And that driver is going to be Will Brown. Now, many people have been speculating maybe Will Brown could come over to NASCAR. But remember, Will Brown has signed a multi-year extension with AAA Engineering through the 2029 season. There's also rumors and speculation that AAA is going to be switching over to Ford in 2026, which could hurt his opportunity to stay with Chevrolet long term. But as I mentioned a second ago, it's expected that Will Brown is getting behind the wheel of the number 11 Kaulig Racing machine. Now, if this ends up happening, this will be the first time that Will Brown has raced in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, because remember, he has made a couple starts in the NASCAR Cup Series, one with Rich Schultz Racing at Sonoma, where he had some really solid pace and showed some really good speed in that event, but unfortunately did have some electrical gremlins and issues and got caught up in a couple incidents in the event. Then he ran the race at Chicago, and we talked about that a second ago, and he had a really good opportunity to drive for Kaulig Racing in the number 13 machine, qualified in the middle of the pack, and unfortunately got taken out in the first lap crash due to Carson Osbar, who will drive the 11 car this weekend at Iowa Speedway in the Xfinity Series in the number 11 machine. I think that Will Brown is coming back to run Xfinity is going to be a really big deal. And with the opportunity coming into play, with Josh Williams, of course, being let go, he's got the opportunity now to drive for Kaulig Racing. Now, Kaulig Racing's NASCAR Xfinity Series program, I think we talked about this in the past. I'm talking a little bit more about this. This program has taken a little bit of a step backwards. But one type of track where the Kaulig Racing cars have ran very, very well on has been the road courses. Last year, they picked up 3 wins in the NASCAR Xfinity Series with Shane Van Gisbergen, those coming at Portland, those coming at Sonoma, and that coming at the Chicago Street Course as well. And AJ Allmendinger showed some really good speed in those events. But obviously, the Cup Series road course program is not as strong as the Trackhouse Racing team, where Shane Van Gisbergen so far this year has had a very solid season with 3 wins already up to this point, and already the favorite to win next week's Cup Series race at Watkins Glen, and probably going to win the Charlotte Roval at this point unless AJ Allmendinger can bring the pace and speed. I expect that Will Brown will be a major factor in this event. I think if road course guys tend to run really, really well, and guys from that supercars background who are really, really good at these types of tracks, they tend to run really, really well. So I do expect that Will Brown is going to be a pretty big factor in this event. Again, I think it's really cool to see that he's going to be coming back around. I know there was talk earlier this year as well that Brock Feeney could come in and make a couple starts in the Xfinity Series. It seems like that deal has fallen through, unfortunately. He kind of denied that was going to be happening, which is a shame because I think that Brock Feeney, who I think is going to be really strong long-term in the supercar ranks, I think that he absolutely will be someone that will be really fun to watch if he came over to race in the sport, but obviously that is not happening. Now, he will not be the only supercar or driver from Australia/New Zealand who will be in that event at Portland. But remember, Jack Perkins, who actually moved his debut up to Chicago a couple weeks back, he'll be behind the wheel of the number 19 car at Portland. And Jack Perkins has some really good speed at Chicago, and I think that same speed is going to carry over to Portland. That 19 car has had some good speed with Eric Almirola so far this year, and I feel like Joe Gibbs Racing's program has been improving over the last couple of weeks. It's been a little bit closer to Junior Motorsports in recent weeks. I do believe that you're going to see that Jack Perkins will have a top 5 and top 10 car minimum, and I think he'll have to go up against Will Brown in this event. Now, obviously, when we go to the Xfinity Series, you got to worry about Connor Zilisch. Connor Zilisch will not have to deal with Shane Van Gisbergen, but already Connor Zilisch this year has picked up 2 road course victories, those coming at a really dominant run at Circuit America's early event. And then, of course, he won the race at Sonoma, holding off a hard-charging Shane Van Gisbergen for the win. And he's going to be the favorite to win those. But I think Will Brown and Jack Perkins especially are going to give Connor Zilisch a run for his money. And what I love, what we've seen recently, especially in recent years, is we've been seeing a lot more drivers from supercar ranks that have been coming over in racing and NASCAR, and they've been having quite a bit of success. And I think that Will Brown is no exception to that. He had really good speed in the 2 races that he's ran so far up to this point. And it'd be really cool down the road if we got to see Will Brown run, which is suddenly the other start that he had scheduled, because he had a 2-race deal with Rich Schultz Racing planned this year. That did not end up happening, of course, as he went to Kaulig Racing. But, of course, Kaulig and RCR have straightened up their partnership throughout the year and the season. Again, what I love, though, is the supercar movement that we've been seeing. We've seen Cam Waters come over and make a couple starts in the Craftsman Truck Series, and he was going to originally run Chicago this year. That did not end up happening, unfortunately, because of the equipment he was going to be in. And we know he's interested in trying to bring a Truck Series type of thing to supercars going into the future. He's trying to push for that at this point. And then again, I mentioned Jack Perkins and Brody Kosecki, among other things, and I think they've been seeing a lot of success of Shane Van Gisbergen on the road courses and now starting to get better on the ovals. He just won his first Legends Car event, won his first oval event, and I think he's been getting a lot better at this point. So I expect Will Brown to be a pretty big factor. Again, Kaulig Racing's up and down. There's a lot of rumors around this team. Ram is a lot of talks that they may be going to the Dodge Ram program in the future, and I think that could be something to watch out for as well. Nonetheless, I think this is a really great opportunity for Will Brown. I think he's going to be one guy you're going to have to watch out for sure, and I think this is going to be a solid opportunity because, well, yes, the Kaulig Racing team's been great, and I know it's disappointing to see Josh Williams lose a seat. I talked about this yesterday. As much as it's disappointing to see Josh Williams not behind the wheel of the 11 car anymore, he just wasn't clicking. It just wasn't working out for him. His performance had not been really good, and he wasn't improving from last year. If he had improved this year, he probably would have stuck behind with the wheel. Unfortunately, he will not be back with that team for the remainder of the year, and he'll try to find a ride for the rest of the year. So this is going to give guys like Will Brown an opportunity. I would not be surprised if you see Kyle Busch behind the wheel before the end of the regular season, because remember, Cup guys cannot run any of those events. I would have to think you might see Kyle Busch make a start, or maybe 1 or 2 maybe, because I know Kyle Busch was talking to somebody about maybe making some Xfinity Series starts this year. I also think you could see Austin Dillon, who will be driving a 21 in substitution for Austin Hill this weekend due to Austin Hill being suspended. We'll have to kind of wait and see what happens on that front there, but nonetheless, we will see Will Brown driving this upcoming week, or in a couple weeks at Portland at the end of the month, when of course the Cup Series and the Truck Series will be racing at Darlington during the Southern 500 weekend. Excited to see what they can do, and we'll see if Will Brown can run really, really well in the 11 car in a couple weeks at Portland in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So that is going to be today's special news report on the organization of Kaulig bringing Will Brown in. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me to our Facebook and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. How do you think Will Brown is going to do in the Xfinity Series race at Portland when it gets officially confirmed? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think he'll win? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we are going to have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. We got a lot to catch up on. We've got the Chicagoland news that came out yesterday, some schedule rumors as well. We're going to talk about Kaulig Racing and the uncertainty around the team, Josh Williams being let go from the program. We'll talk about some other news, NASCAR 25, among other things. We're going to talk about people like Haley Deegan, SVG, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bo Walsh, Ross Chastain, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Cam Waters, Brock Feeney, again, name it. Included Safari Dodge, Ram rumors as well. We're going to talk about all this kind of stuff on the channel. I did a silly season update about 2 or 3 days ago. If you haven't checked it out, I suggest you do. Really appreciate the support on that video. We got a lot of fun content coming out. People like Kyle Larson, whose birthday was today, Chase Light, Ryan Priest, Brad Kozlowski, name it, all the good stuff we talk about on the channel in the coming days and the coming weeks as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.